And Bill in Jefferson City, Missouri. Hey, Bill, what's up?
Let me get you off speakerphone.
That would be much appreciated, Bill. It sounds like you're sitting in the outhouse.
Is that better?
That's a lot better. What's up?
Okay. You've had people talking about voter fraud. And it occurred to me that, Frank Luntz changed opinions on a lot of things by the way he talks about it.
Sure.
And so we oughtn't to talk about voter suppression. We should talk about election fraud.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And whenever the Republicans say voter fraud, you should respond, voter fraud doesn't exist, but election fraud absolutely does. And the Republicans have been driving this since the 60s. Before that, the Democrats were. It was called Jim Crow. And it's still here, and it's ongoing. And, in fact, there's even a variation of Jim Crow in I think it's 6 states now. Florida's the most prominent, where a person who's been arrested can never vote for the rest of their life, or a person who's been convicted of a crime, I guess. And this is serious stuff.
So, like I say, we need to concentrate and make sure we say election fraud, not any of that other stuff.
Yeah, although the thing is, again, Fox So-Called News, Right-Wing Hate Radio, they have so pounded on this thing that even though you say election fraud, you're doing nuance. You understand the difference. The average person who watches Fox News does not understand the difference and will simply translate in their brain your election fraud phrase into voter fraud. And what we need to do is go beyond that and point out that Republicans are actually stealing elections, and stop using phrases or euphemisms or labels and put it in the form of active verbs and simple nouns. Republicans are stealing elections. They stole elections across. They stole elections across the Midwest. They stole elections in red states. They've been stealing elections for years and years. And the proof of it is not at all hard to find. In fact, finding Republicans bragging about stealing elections is not hard to find. Those clips are out there. I mean, it's right down to Peter King on the White House lawn just before the 2004 election, saying, we got this thing in the back. He's talking to Nancy Pelosi's daughter, saying, they'll vote, but we're going to count the votes, right? And it's like, when I saw that, I was like, whoa, really?
Could I add one thing?
Yeah, real quickly. We got about 30 seconds.
What we've got to do is have somebody like a Frank Luntz start defining things for the progressives. And you're a good place to start.
Yeah, well, I wrote a book about this. It's called Cracking the Code, about how, political messaging and how these phrases are turned and like that. And there's a professor out at Berkeley who wrote a book called Don't Think About an Elephant, the same thing. But, there's a certain amount of disingenuousness in that as well. I think we need to be educating people on the issues, too. But Bill, I don't disagree. Democratic and progressive messaging has not been as strong as Republican messaging, in part because they haven't had the resources. Bill, thanks a lot. They don't have the billionaires funding them. We'll be right back.